Venom 1 was fun. Flawed, but fun. Venom 2 is going to be doubly fun, but still has a big flaw to me. One of the major flaws in Venom, or I guess you could call it the Venom series, is that Venom, the voice actor, it seems as though his voice was recorded, his dialogue was recorded in a sound booth, separate from Eddie Brock's character. I'm trying to remember what his the actual actor's name is, but Eddie Brock's character, when he's actually acting, the dialogue doesn't really come out as cohesive with Venom. Venom sounds like he was recorded in a sound booth. Eddie Brock's, the actor, is though he was recorded on scene, and they just hodgepodged the two dialogue things together. It doesn't feel cohesive, specifically of Venom being a symbiotic with Eddie Brock, even though Eddie Brock is a villain. Well, in this movie series, he's an anti-hero, which again, I'd love to see that. That'd be kind of an interesting little look at it. So, that's my take on Venom. Like, probably the worst part about the entire Venom saga is Venom's dialogue with Eddie Brock. It's something that if you can overlook, it's actually a very fun film. It's actually, I think, good film. I'm not saying great film. I'm just saying good enough of being from start to finish. There's some consistency going on. There's some cohesiveness. Things are happening for grounded reasons. Venom does jokes simply because of how different of a species that he is compared to Eddie. So it's like you have that little dynamic. Again, the majority of the cringe that I have found within the first movie, which again, I'm looking forward to this movie, and we'll get to it in a second, this trailer. I'm looking forward to the dynamic with, specifically Venom. Venom is a fun character. His dynamicness with Eddie, though, is a little bit cringe. So that's my take on it. So let's get right into this. So, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Trailer 2.
All I ever wanted in this world is carnage.
Eddie here. We should be out there snacking on bad guys. I am a predator. I need to be free.
This is awesome. Again, it's something that I didn't even notice until the second or third watch through, because I have to make certain that I have some of my ideas that are cohesive when I do this, so I have to watch the trailer at least once or twice, so I can be like, oh, this, and then have my ideas thought in somewhat of a linear fashion. This is a great build-up to a Venom character. If you're literally going to have an issue of a plot to happen, you could even do this in the first one, which they do point it out, but if you're going to make a movie about Venom, you have to make it where he is a destructive character. This works for me. This works. A destructive cannibal. Let's go with cannibal. Not cannibal. Cannibal? No, not cannibal. That's different. I mean, carnivore. That's a different word. He just wants to consume everything. What's the word for that? Like buzzards are like not omnivores, but like consumes everything from dead carcasses to live things and whatever. I think a buzzard is that way. There's a few animals that do that. But if you're gonna have that, and he needs to get out, but Eddie is saying no killing, no, stop it. Murder is bad, unless it's for like this very niche area where you're murdering your own kind. That's okay. I'm okay with you murdering your own kind, but don't murder people. No, stop it. No. This is a great dynamic to have. I like this.
You have got to get control of your aggression, or you will get hauled off into Area 51.
And that's a great concern. If anything, Eddie is actually looking out for Venom. It's like Venom's not a good person. He's not a good thing. No, he's not. Venom's a bad guy. But the thing is that Eddie is looking out for the thing that is attached to him. Now, again, I need to rewatch Venom 1 as to why he can't unattach himself, which would be kind of an interesting thing as to if they do that at maybe Venom 3, they can have it where Venom is detached from Eddie, but when he does that, his other host of Venom, he doesn't like him or he is misused, just like in Aladdin. In Aladdin, Jafar takes the genie. The genie, and Aladdin had just had a fight. Jeannie is upset, or like they're just okay, we don't like each other right now because because of the promise that Aladdin gave to Jeannie that his third and final wish will be to let the genie free. But Aladdin doesn't want to let go of the possibility of being with Jasmine forever, and he has to be a prince. So there's that contrast of like, you promised, but I want this thing. So it's great. But then that could happen in this. Like it's a great dynamic. It is a symbiotic relationship, literally, with Venom. And if you're gonna have, this is amazing. Okay, there's so much potential that you could do with this, and I think at least this second movie, this we'll get into, really does handle well Venom. This one beginning plot of, I need to get out, I need to feed, I'm not who you think I am. I need to do these things. And then Eddie's like, no, it'll be bad for you. Don't do it, it's bad, it's wrong. If we're gonna be together, you can't do these things. It's great, I love it. Okay, I was gonna go somewhere with that. Oh, with the symbiotic relationship. With the third movie, what they could potentially have is have Venom go into a different, have another host of a body. That person misuses and becomes the villain that maybe Venom used to actually be, with Eddie Brock being the actual villain. In other DC comics and other not DC, Marvel comics. I was thinking Batman for some reason, just because of the black on black. So, Dark Universe means Batman. So, superficial thinking, I know.
You live in my body, you live by my rules.
Why'd you put rules and then there's only one? Wouldn't you just put the rule, no eating? Right? Am I wrong there? If you're gonna put rules here, no eating people. Well, it's only one rule, so it's not rules with an S.
I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please let me fix it so I can forget it.
Again, this dynamic, I find it so cringe. It doesn't feel like it's an actual relationship. It's like, oh, the person, or oh, this thing that's coming outside of myself hit me out of anger. And then you're just like, oh, it asks me to be very defenseless to do it again. It feels so artificial. I like the idea of what they're doing here. I don't like its execution. But again, it's a movie in which I can watch this with people and enjoy my time. Even though there might be an issue with it, I'd be like and we move past it. That's it. It's like it's one of those movies, and movies don't have to be perfect at all, ever. If anything, everything has a flaw, and if anything is trying to be held as perfect, you focus too much on the little details that you lose the big major plot scenes. There's a horror, not a horror movie, but there's a sort of a documentary movie with, I'm trying to think of which movie it is. Let me try to set it up anyways. There is a movie about the Holocaust, and I think it's 2 years in World War II, and you get to see firsthand about not this fictitious person, but they film it as though it's a real movie, but it's kind of shot as like a mini documentary as well. And the thing is they go through the horror aspect of that. They go through like, hey, these people, the Germans, the Nazis, actually put in, specifically not the Nazis, not just Germans, but the Nazis, locked all these citizens in this church, and sitting outside, watched it burned, relished in their misery, and kept shooting the entire town. That was horrible. That was horrific. I don't know where I was going with that thought process about no, that's why. The movie itself actually generates horror. I will never watch it just because of that. I do not like horror. I just saw a movie review about Hostel. It's a movie which, when it came out, I was like, no, I don't want to deal with that. That's way too bloody. I'm not a fan of snuff films or torture films at all. Even though Saw 2 is actually one of the best plots I've ever seen in a film. Well, that's probably a bit of an extravagant. What's the word? There's so many words I want to use, but it's like my brain saying like, oh, nope. Ran out of memory. not enough access to things. So, in the Saw series, Saw 2 is actually one of the best plot scenes. Anyways, within that Holocaust movie, there are some things in which I don't like how it happened in certain things, and there's some points in which that he used granular Oh, no, that actually would work. So anyways, regardless of whether or not I find fault with something, there are movies with faults. There are movies in which I might find it at fault, regardless of, maybe it has an objective flaw. Maybe it's something in which I like it, but it is absolutely flawed. Guess what? Every movie has them. That's a good thing. Why? We can use that, learn from it, and we can make something better. Venom to Venom 2, so much better, it looks like. Already, I love the actor who's playing Carnage. Love the actor. Don't know how he is as a person. From John Wick 1 to John Wick 2, one of my favorite evolutions of a movie. It's great! John Wick 1 established an entire genre, an entire universe. The underworld assassin marketing system. I don't know how else to put it. It's just like the system of the assassins. Well, then they went to the second movie. To me, the second one was actually was probably like a 92 out of 100. Pretty freaking solid from start to finish, even though they have silencers that are literally shot in front of people. But again, that's one of those moments of which I'm okay. One, there is no assassination world. And what they're showing here is a little bit of a, hey, there is an assassin's world happening under our very nose that nobody's aware of. Nobody has. They don't even introduce regular citizens in this world. I think it's cohesive. So, third movie I don't like. I'm getting off the rails because I'm going down some rabbit trails. I need to come back. Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
You are a loser.
And then calling him a loser, I don't like that. It feels as though they wanted to say it, but they got somebody off the street to be like, do a scary voice. Yeah, you're stupid. It doesn't work. It doesn't match the scene. You could have it where instead of having him like talk face to face, maybe it's just his inner voice where Eddie goes and does something, and then you have Venom say, no, you're an idiot, you're stupid for doing that. You could have it where it's like this dialogue inside of himself when you're having this external dialogue, but when he's literally an external dialogue, it just doesn't work because it has a different dynamic. I know what they did with the idea. I like the fact that they at least tried to do it. I don't think it works at all. So.
Eddie Brock.
I love the actor. I'm trying to remember from a few. There's two films that come to the top of my mind. One, Hunger Games. Absolutely. When he was in Hunger Games, I absolutely loved his character. Top character for me. Really. He first starts out coming out as a drunk and absolutely competent on everything that he does, and he only wears a suit when he needs to. I love characters like that. It's like, I'm really good at what I do. I hate life, but then shows like I can take care of anything. But it's not. But because he lives in the world he drinks. So it's a great, not circular, but it's great encompassed character. I love his character. And that one, and then the other one is when they're trying to hunt down Huckleberry Finn. That would be an interesting movie. Oh, we'll get you, Huckleberry Finn. Just like, whoa. Let me pull out my Tommy gun. It's the movie Bonnie and Clyde, where a highwayman and his character are on the hunt of Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know what time frame that is, but they're off to try. I don't want to say highwayman, but they're off to go and hunt down and try to get Bonnie and Clyde. He plays in that movie as well. And then Zombieland. He plays a really good. I love the actor. I love him.
Give you my story. People love serial killers.
Here's one of the questions that I would have. Let's get back to this after we see the struggle.
Please, why me?
What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. I have tasted blood before, and that is not it.
Okay, that's the whole point. He grabs Eddie and bites him. Okay? When you have this moment, was he a serial killer? Well, first off, why did he kill? No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong question. Why is Eddie seeing a serial killer? the serial killer asked for Eddie because the serial killer knows that Eddie is Venom. But that makes more sense for this serial killer. We'll call Carnage, because he is Carnage. Or at least the parasite is, but he is Carnage. Carnage wants Eddie to come to Carnage, come to the serial killer. Eddie, why is he going to this serial killer? Because he was requested to? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? There's no rhyme or reason to do it, right? Am I wrong to think that? There's a serial killer just gave me oh look, serial killer just texted me. See you in 20 minutes. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be terrified. Or like, hey, come to the prison in 1 hour. It's like, why? I'm going to delete it. But if, again, there's actually a really good point. If you have a serial killer that you know and his research of like, hey, this guy wants to see you in 1 hour. Whoa, that was a bright light. See you in 1 hour. Would you not want to go and confront him? Because if he already knows where you live, I'm certain he can find a way to track you some other way. So that's just kind of a good question. What would I do? I have no idea. That'd be a terrifying thought. I don't want anybody to have that happen to him. But again, if Eddie Brock at least has Venom, good. Like, that's crazy of a thought. Anyways, now let's get to this next scene.
Fire is mine.
Why is Eddie, having seen the combat that he does, stays there holding the bar while this serial killer is literally 4 or 5 feet away? I mean, like, don't you have enough, like, strength and power to go, like... I don't... It's just... That feels a little forced. Maybe in the scene, I think that could work. You have the serial killer just, like, slowly walking up to Eddie while he's by the bars, and then when he's in arm's reach, he grabs his hands or thumbs and, like, locks them in, and then he, like, bites his arm or something. Something a bit more practical than what kind of happens here. Now, if we're going to go with when he bites him, is this serial killer Carnage already? Or because he has bitten him, therefore Carnage is going to be coming out from Venom, being not symbiote, but like a seed, like a sperm or something, and that is going to go into him, and it's going to start to evolve and to grow and just absolutely take over this guy. Or has he already been that way? Or was there something inside of this guy to have that allowed where no one else can, drinking or taking or actually consuming Eddie Brock's blood, can allow a symbiote to get inside of them? Because if that's the case, the third movie might be, or maybe the fifth movie, whichever installment we're going to have, there might be a point down the line we're going to get Spider-Man into the shadows, or whatever, the web of shadows, or the web of something. There's a game, I think it's a PlayStation 3, might be a PlayStation 2 game before they switched over to the PlayStation 3, or it was a PlayStation 3 game before they switched over to the PlayStation 4. It was like the transition before it just released. But Spider-Man has a grand saga, and at the very end, it's literally just him either choosing to do Spider-Man action, hero, or do villain activity, Venom. And you get to choose which one you do, and whichever one you do affects the plot. It's actually kind of fun. But at the end of that entire game, you can take over the entire world, all of New York, with the symbiote. With Venom, and you literally have like everything turned into like a Venom-esque utopia, and it's all dark. There's venom webs everywhere. It's actually kind of interesting, kind of an interesting look. that might be the third installment of Venom. Am I wrong? Like, is that a little bit of off, too far off? Is there a thought that I'm not thinking about? Is there something that has been shown that's just a little bit wrong? And if you literally are or have been bitten by a serial killer, what are the ramifications, or what are the things in which that have to be done? Do you not get not a tetanus shot, but like any type of shot? Do you get any type of medical treatment? Are they going to ask him? You've just been bitten by a serial killer. What are the ramifications of that logistically? Should you not, like, if, you have to be tested, right? You could have an infection. These people who do not know the type of world that Eddie Brock lives in has to at least say, let me treat your wounds, or something, because you've just been bitten with blood have been drawn, because he just says that. See, this is getting a little perplexing. Where is this plot going to be going?
I have tasted blood before, and that is not it.
It's a really good quote. I mean, again, serial killer, blood, he tasted blood before, blood, serial killer, murder, blood, death, woohoo. I'm trying to add something to that. There's nothing to really add. I just like it. It works. It works for me. Now, again, that would be a good question. Just looking at that. Wait. Okay. Here's a question. After he bit Eddie Brock, he might be going through the transformation, the serial killer, Carnage. He might be going through the transformation of becoming Carnage. Right then and there, they had to have strapped him down, so that's why on the bottom right-hand side of the screen you get to see maybe like a buckle. So maybe because of biting Eddie Brock, they had to restrain him. That's probably what's going to happen.
All I ever wanted in this world.
Right there. Okay, I know it's kind of a very ugly scene to pause on, and I'm not talking about the movie. Oh, my face! If I ever turn into a Venom type character, call the cops. Call the police, call the army, call Ghostbusters. Call someone, because that's not good for anybody. Well, anyways. I'm very curious. Okay. I kind of had to process an idea here for a second. I'm still doing it. What we can see from here is that Eddie Brock, well, not from here, but Eddie Brock has a symbiote that comes from his back that's inside of him. So how it actually is able to go on the outside of the clothing or through the clothing without destroying the clothing. Again, that's a very silly thing as to, like, why does that happen? Why doesn't it just come from his neck or wherever revealed skin is? I think that would be a very smart thing to do anywhere in the movie. It's like if, there's this anime called Parasite. I hate it. It's very nihilistic. It's like it presents a major problem and then it just sort of fades away and it's not ever resolved. It's like, okay, yay, yay, oh yeah, okay. But there is a parasite that gets into a person and then it takes over their mind and their body and it mutates them horrifically. And then they are just nothing but parasites that need to consume. You could have it like that where in the anime, the parasite can mutate the body. But in the hero of the story, he had prevented the parasite from going through the ear, so he went through like the arm or something, and then it started going up through here. The hero stopped the parasite from going up into the head, into the brain, and then the parasite only took over the arm. With that, the parasite ate the entire arm, if I understand correctly. It's the entire arm, or at least the hand. And is a new intelligent creature. But the intelligent creature can't kill the host, else he dies. That's the same thing that's sort of happening here is you could have it where with Venom and Eddie Brock, you don't have the parasite, the Venom, coming out of the back of the shirt. Why? Why not just come out of like an exposed part of the skin or maybe the face? That would be kind of interesting. I'm mentioning that first because here you have not Eddie Brock, Carnage, whatever the other guy's name is, serial killer. He is now serial killer, killer of the cereal. And if that was ever true, I would love to see an anime, unironically, have the main villain be a murderer of cereal. You could probably make it into like cereal icons, like Kellogg's Frosted Flakes is Tony the Tiger, and you could Lucky Charms is the Leprechaun, and you could have it where it's just nothing but like that would be perfect from an anime. The hero is trying to take down evil cereal box companies' logos. Tony the Tiger is ravenous and a murderer, and he consumes his foes. So it's like one episode of just nothing but the main character squashing him. Something like that would be kind of interesting. The Lucky Charms is actually the bearer of unluckiness, where instead of saying it's magically delicious, it's like he says it's magically delicious, and then somebody has like extreme unluck and dies. Like, oh, you got cancer. It's like, oh my gosh, why would you do that? Fine, and then just instant kills him or something. I don't know. It's like, how can you ever defeat? Well, I guess it's like defeating Jinx from Teen Titans. Jinx is unlucky, or what is the thing? To jinx something is to bring bad luck. How do you defeat somebody who brings bad luck? It's a really great question. So, getting to this guy, because we need to get to this guy. He has, instead of having the independent, like Venom, Eddie Brock dynamic, it seems as though that he and Carnage are one and the same. Maybe Carnage has no thought. Literally has no mind of his own. Maybe Carnage is just a virus that exerts nothing but rage. Here, I think that's the same way in the comic books. It might be. I don't think Carnage actually has a mind in the comic books or in any of the video games or shows or anything. I don't ever think that Carnage has ever been in a movie or a TV show. Might have been once, but I'm probably wrong with that. Talking about animated. Carnage. I'm trying to figure this out. Carnage being of no mind may allow the serial killer to take control over Carnage whenever the serial killer wants to do something. You don't have a competing of the minds. There's no competition of the minds. There's just one mind. No two, it's just one. And because of that unity that this guy has over his symbiote, that is why he is such a potent villain compared to Eddie Brock and Venom. Eddie Brock is a unique creature is the host of Venom. He is not a host, he is one in the same unity, and that's why he is such a dangerous foe. That's kind of an interesting thought. That's interesting. That's very interesting. No. Because I need to check this out. I need to go back into Venom 1. I need to go back and watch the entire movie. Is there at any single point when let's get to the prison scene here a second.
This Carnage.
Yeah, right here. That there's that was a great shot to pause on. That he literally has a hole inside of him, meaning that the body of the serial killer is Carnage. It's not that there is a host inside the symbiote that takes control or is the outside shell of him, but he is actually Carnage. And again, that presents an entirely different dynamic between the two. They're not two different creatures, they're actually one and the same as the base. And that's a kind of interesting... Yeah... I hope they mention that. I really hope they mention it, but not so blatantly. But it'd be awesome. Like, oh, how did I don't know. I don't know how they could ever present that without sounding so forced. With they're one and the same, or a duality, or something. Yeah, I don't know why this happens. Why is there literally like a French kissing death scene? The Carnage guy has his tongue and he's going to suffocate this guard through the mouth going down his entire body. Why? If you're just wanting carnage rather than sex scene, right? Right? Like, if you want carnage, wouldn't you want to kill him either as... Well, actually, this... Wouldn't suffocation be one like a very slow process, and that's what he wants, carnage? He doesn't necessarily want to kill someone slowly. And he doesn't want to kill somebody fast. He actually wants to kill somebody slowly. And if you were to kill somebody slowly, wouldn't this be the means in which you would do it? Yeah, but why with the tongue, dude? Like, why? Look at that. Why? That is so weird. I mean, you know, the death is the bad part too. Oh, death, death, death. Why would you do that in this way, though? If you... Oh, that actually brings up a question. He can probably shift his entire body into being whoever he wants. So he is a shapeshifter. I do not see how you cannot be a shapeshifter if you cannot do what he's doing right now. He's literally extending his tongue as long as it needs to be. There is no... there's no reason for it to be other than that, unless he wanted it to be that long so he could actually send it all the way down the guard and have this amazing photo shot. Like, oh, horror, death. So meaning, he is a magnificent shapeshifter that can transform into anyone else other than just his serial killer form. He can literally, at the end of the movie, if he's still alive, a person walks by on the street, or depending on COVID, maybe a car, and he's transformed into somebody else, and then another car goes by, and then he's gone. Like, oh, okay, that'd be, I wonder if they'll poke at the transformationable chameleon. What did I say? Shapeshifter. Yeah. You know what? I am all a fan of Carnage. And by the way, all the people that are dying are probably police officers, which sucks. We need them. Like, anybody who says all cops are bad, I don't think you have had enough reality to understand how much a necessity cops are to us. So, I've had horrible experiences. I've been locked up on... I didn't show my ID at a birthday party. I got put in prison. I got locked up overnight. I was at a birthday party, didn't show ID, I got locked up. So I have bad experiences with cops too. I'm not saying, and yeah, I'm not saying that I like all cops. That's a different thing. It's just we need cops.
I'm not crazy, man.
See, I like the type of character that the serial killer is. And one of the best parts about having... The best type of villain is a competent villain. Having a stereotypical villain who's monologuing like in Iron Man 1, one of my favorite movies, it's foolish, it's kind of silly, but it's a stereotype, and that stereotype might make it seem cheesy. But having a competent villain who actually has some rationalization and some planning, regardless of whether or not all things go in his direction, which he might have been planning for quite some time, and then he's executing things, or he's like a Joker flying at the seat. What seems to be flying, shooting at the whim of your seat, wherever you are. You're just shooting at the hip. Whatever happens, happens. However many shots that it takes, I'm going to get you, and then it makes it look like he's a very skilled person or something.
Why are you a vengeful one?
Wait, why is he talking? Oh, they're probably in the church. Let's go back for a second. No. They're probably in the church right now.
I'm not a creep.
They're probably in the church. Okay, it's a little too vague. They're probably outside in the streets. I don't know. Again, it's a little too vague for me. But he's probably talking to Eddie right now. Like, he probably has him pinned down. Or is he talking to some other random person? I don't know.
Crazy, man. Why are you a vengeful one?
As much as I don't want this to be happening in a church, because there are some great movie end scenes where you can have it happening in a church and it's very symbolic. Actually, this is great symbolism. It's just a different type. I wouldn't expect it to be this way, or just it has a different flow than I would probably normally have it. There's one anime that I enjoy watching. I think it's Phantom Dark or Dark Phantom or something. Not Phantom of the Opera. I'm trying to remember what that anime is. One of the last scenes in that anime is one assassin was trying to help another assassin. It always comes back to assassins. One assassin is trying to help another assassin. The assassin who's trying to help has his own mind. The other one has been deprogrammed and has their mind wiped. While the controller of that assassin, again, it's a male-female dynamic, and including with the other guy, the hero is loving to this other assassin, male-female, and then you have the evil villain who is much older and in control of the much younger woman assassin. That dynamic, that relationship is very toxic. It's very bad. It's very wrong. I'm manipulating you for my own pleasure. Versus the hero saying, "I want to help you. You need to be free." That sense of love. Like that happens all in a church. The last episode is in a church scene. It just feels a bit more grounded. But when you have sort of an alien in a church scene, that's a little weird to me. Like a church scene would be more grounded, but then you have alien right in front of it. It's just like if you have Martian Manhunter. If you have Martian Manhunter or Jean, for those DC fans, an alien. A Martian, like literally just fluttering and hovering in front of a church, mosaic glass thing, it'd be out of place. It feels the contrast is a little weird. You can have it where maybe he goes through the pane glass, and then Venom is thrown through the stained glass window. And then Carnage goes through the window exactly how he is. And instead of going up to the pane glass, you can actually have him come through the pane glass with all the tentacles just like everywhere. That would be a better scene. Again, the approach to this shot, it feels as though they wanted to have the shot. It doesn't feel natural. It's just like epic for reasons. But the other one I think would be the one that I mentioned, feels more natural to allowing this shot to happen, and you can have maybe the majority of the glass on the outside be okay, and on the inside be broken because of Venom. And if Venom broke the majority of the glass, you could probably have Carnage crush all the glass, all the pane glass wherever his tentacles are, while he's coming in, still having like the majority of the broken glass all around him, creating that very colorful light coming through. Again, that is something that I think would be better for this scene. But let's move on.
Oh, shit! Whoa, where you going? That is a red one!
Okay, there's a lot to unpack in this one scene. I like the idea of Venom hiding because the evil, like, oh my gosh, this is a very that's a red one. That's a red parasite. That's a red symbiote. Those guys are dangerous. Those are the bad guys. I hate them. It's like as much power as Venom has, he's scared. Okay, it's like that's a very understandable thing. And yes, absolutely, I'd be terrified. It's like if Venom came out, I'd be terrified. But if something terrifies him, then I should be very terrified of it. type of thing. And this shouldn't be happening right now. Carnage wants to murder, maim, and destroy, and kill. Eddie Brock is in the middle of the church, defenseless, with his parasite, with the symbiote going inside of him, hiding. Carnage is standing there at the church elevated thingy, the platform, whatever it is, standing there, waiting for Eddie Brock to deliver his line. This shouldn't be happening. No. This is a no-no. This can only work if Eddie Brock does not have the attention of Carnage, the big bad boss who kills any and all things for no particular reason other than to maim and destroy. But yet we're gonna pause to have Eddie Brock. It's literally frozen in time. Carnage is frozen in time, so Eddie Brock can deliver his line. No! That's silly. I was going to say other words, but silly. That's a silly thing. You don't do that. If I was to fix this, have Carnage maybe fighting in the church. Whatever. Doesn't matter where he is. There are the police out there, and they're trying to SWAT team, or the army, the coast. By the way, how does the world change according to this new information about symbiotes being as widespread as they are after this movie? That'd be kind of an interesting thing. Again, that's why Venom 3 might be a very global, or at least the entire city might succumb to a Venom parasite, and he actually has to, I don't know, that'd be very interesting. Just a side thought. If you were to fix this scene, you need to have Carnage be busy with other things. Eddie Brock comes to the scene on his motorcycle, and then he gets up and he's like, yeah, this is going to be an epic fight scene, so it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Where is it? Right here. This is the type of scene you need to have when he's first coming to like, oh, we're going to fight Carnage and we're going to win. Yeah! Like that epic, like, build-up of, like, oh, we're gonna get a Hulk smash. That type of feel. You need to have that be the first scene. Then, when Venom clearly sees that Carnage is there, he goes, oh, dang it, that's a red one. And then he hides. There's Carnage literally happening in the back, and you hear, like, you see these missiles flying, and... But it's so far in the back. It's so far in the back that it's just, you hear it like... You hear these calamities that are happening. There's probably a building that's falling. But Venom and Eddie are having a dialogue scene. It's like, dude, we need you, get out of here. It's like, no, I don't want to. It's scary. Like, you could probably make him like sound like a child. Like, no, I don't wanna. It's like, dude, not the right time. And with all the carnage happening in the back, literally with Carnage, that's where the dialogue needs to be happening instead of right in front of Carnage. Eddie Brock should not be in line of sight, specifically with the target on his back, quite literally. Carnage wants to kill him. You can't have this scene happen the way that it's happening. I don't believe you, show. You don't exist. This is a wrong scene to have. Then, what you could have after Eddie Brock convinces Venom to come out, it's like, you could eat everybody. It's like, yeah, we get to eat everybody. Woohoo! He gets like, oh, you promise? Yeah, sure, why not? Venom comes out, big hulking scene, yeah! The fight scene leads to the death and destruction of everybody that was part of the calamity, the destruction, the carnage. And after that fight scene, near the very end, before the resolution scene happens, you get to see Eddie, like Venom, looking around and be like, well, I don't see anybody. Oh, it's like, you promised I get to eat everybody. Well, I'm sorry. Like, there's nobody there alive, so it's like I said, I promised you could, it's just we didn't kill him in time. And Venom's like, dang it. And like kicks a tire or something, or like kicks a puppy. Like, why'd you kick a puppy? It's like, it's an accident, or something like that, I don't know. He's an evil guy. He's a bad guy.
That is a red one.
You need to come out right now. I will let you eat everybody.
Promise.
And again, I promise to let you eat everybody, but there's nobody there to... There's nobody there. It would be a more suiting thing if there was literally like good guys and bad guys, or like some symbiotes out and about. I don't know. It's just it feels so mismatched. No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Betty, you feel like...
Again, the fight scene is something that I am looking forward to. Yes, my monkey reptilian brain is looking forward to the very basic primitive things.
Home to me.
Oh, let's go back. I didn't realize that.
You feel like...
Who is being rescued is the woman? Why does is the woman the wife of the serial killer? And then, are we gonna have it where he killed to protect her or something, and then he's not really a serial killer? So all the people that he killed, it's like, they don't matter. Like, that'd be a little weird. But if you're to protect her, to like get her out of this insane asylum, which she's in like Area 51, and this is the place in which she was being hidden or something, and the serial killer, is trying to protect his ex-wife or current wife, but she doesn't really know where things are because of something happening with her mental state. I mean, that would be something to explore. I hope they handle it well.
Home to me.
He's dancing. There she is. Who is this person, and why is she doing what she's doing? Why does she do what? Why does she does what she does? Why do she does what she doing? So, one of the things that you could probably think about, it'd be kind of interesting. Maybe she is a superpowered person, or is this a symbiotic thing, a symbiote thing? Is this where there's a symbiote inside of her, and this is why she's able to do what she does, or is she just a superpowered person? And again, does this have any ties in with any other characters? Which superhero or which comic book character is she, if she is one, or is she a new character that they are just creating? If they are just creating one, good job. Good job. By the way, everything's rushing a little bit too quick. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm always bringing that up, the Eternals trailer, I would argue, has one of the better fight scene sequence because everything feels a little bit more grounded. The fights don't feel as so fast-paced that you're just moving everywhere. It actually feels like the camera's going with you, and you actually have the fight here. It feels less rushed. It feels less rushed. Here it does feel more rushed, and again, things are just happening all over the place, versus it just like, okay, the fight sequence is happening and the camera's moving with it. It feels more natural.
Like family.
So, I am looking forward to this movie. As much as I've probably been bitching about this movie, yes, I am going to be watching it. It's a movie that I want to know what happens. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You could just say I'm happy for you.
That was going to be us.
I am happy for you.
No!
God, I'm so sorry.
Not sorry.
And if anything, I do like the thing that they try to do with Eddie Brock. Like, his inner demon literally has him act out on his desires in horrible ways. That's a good way of doing it. Bravo, show. Yeah. Although, why he's constantly in want and desire of his ex-wife, wouldn't it be, if you actually loved her, push her out of your life because you literally have a demon inside of you? If you have a demon literally inside of you, and why would you ever want to have the people that you love right next to you, when that demon could just eat them at any single moment? Is that not wrong? Like, isn't that right? Like, hey, I have this demon that's hungry all the time for meat. Do you know what the quickest access to meat is in a civilization? People who, yeah, I'm not, yeah, just like, if Venom literally punched through the wall, like his head punched through the wall, still attached to Eddie Brock, and he just not nibbled on the dog a little bit. He's like, Venom, stop that. It's like, but I want to. I don't want. I want to eat it. It's like, yeah, this relationship feels a little forced. Just a little smidgy forced.
Serious couples counseling.
Exclusively in movie theaters. By the way, I do appreciate it that they're actually saying specifically movie theaters. Nowhere else will you get this movie, so we're not going to be doing Disney Plus or anything. There's actually a reason to go to the movie theaters to watch this, which is actually kind of an interesting thing. Specifically in the post-COVID. We're not in post-COVID, we're still COVID. Man, COVID rules suck. That's my philosophy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyways, yeah, as much as I've probably been complaining about the movie, I'm still looking forward to it. You can criticize something because you want it to be better. I want you to be better, movie. Please do something better for the next movie. I don't care how crappy of a film something is. If the next movie is objectively better than this one, yay! Yay! That means when I watch this first movie that is crap, I'm not saying Venom is crap, I'm just saying any movie, if you're gonna be invested into something that is kind of but the next movie is objectively better, I want to go on this ride because I'm now having this sudden expectation that the movie after that is going to be better than that. So I could go through a movie or a plot or a scene that's just horribly written, or maybe the mishmash of the language, the dialogue between Eddie Brock and Venom, but each and every single movie just continuously like, yes, I want more, I want more, I want more, yes, 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 and you just keep going down, you keep going up that road. That's the type of scaling that I would love to see. If you're going to be investing your time into something, you've got to. Wait. I was going to go somewhere else with that, but let me say it this way. I want to invest my time into something that has a payoff. It's something I didn't really realize until now, but I don't like watching horror movies. I don't like watching horror movies, or specifically snuff films. I don't like watching that type of nihilistic thing where it's like, oh, this is the major plot. Ultimately, it doesn't matter at the end. It's like, just... Why would I want to invest my time into something that literally has no meaning? I want to invest my time and energy in something that's going to be progressing. And then from that progression, we go into something better. If we dip down a little bit, it better have some better payoff, because I don't want to just, drop. It's one of the reasons why nobody talks about Game of Thrones anymore. Game of Thrones is a dead series because of how they handled specifically Season 8. They could have left Season 7 on a cliffhanger, and people could probably still be debating, well, it's good, it's bad, where's it going? But Season 8 really demolished any remnants of possible or potential that the fans of the show could have been defending for. But how we know how it goes, they just rushed it, moved on, we're done, we want to move on to something else. Now nobody wants the producers of the show because of how mismanaged and how poorly how poorly they handled D&D, whatever their actual names are, Dumb and Dumber. This is the name that's been going around for them, of the Game of Thrones series. So, again, I want there to be something better, like Lord of the Rings. I may like or not like how long of a TV, episode, the first movie takes forever to get started. But once it starts, it continues. There's more. I want to see more. Yes. So, if there is a Venom 3, I think this will just be a very fun film to watch. I don't think something that I'm going to praise being an A-worth movie. It might be a very, very good B film. Which again, there's a lot of movies that I enjoy watching that are B films. Mad Max, I think that's the movie, Mad Max, Fury Road. That doesn't have as much plot issues as Venom 1. But I think it's a very solid thing from start to finish, even though there's some modern-day feminism. Again, modern-day feminism is much different than actual feminism, where it's like, I'm a strong woman, and it doesn't matter whatever a man can do, I can do it too. I mean, there's a little hint of it, but other than that, it's you can kind of brush it off. It's we're moving on. Yeah, it's pretty good. So, I'm looking forward to it. #Venom. I'm looking forward to this movie. I really am. Venom is one of my favorite villains. I always say there's one of my favorite villains. Everything's my favorite. Everything's my favorite until it's not. So, Venom was a villain that I enjoyed how he looked, what he represented, but not necessarily the blood and gore and mayhem part. I know that's well, how can you enjoy the character? I enjoy the idea of the character, and if I could really get more into detail, that would probably take me another 15 to 20 minutes really to get down into the hearts and in the weeds as to why. But he's always a character that I've gravitated towards and always hoped that he had something really well done for him. I'm not a fan of Daredevil as a character, but I don't want anything bad happen, anything for him to be ill-written. I like the idea of Punisher much more than me actually liking who the Punisher is. The Punisher is a bad guy. But again, we call him a good guy because he takes out the bad guys. The thing is he's very extreme about it. He's very extreme. But again, he's taking out the bad guys, so it's like, oh yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, okay. If he at any, well, here's the point. If he at any single point he missteps and he kills an innocent to kill the bad guy, is he still a bad guy? Because again, we're gonna go with like, well, this person. We're gonna start going into moral relativism at that point, and that's where the hard line is sort of being drawn, and why Punisher is such such an interesting, captivating hero. Again, anti-hero, if you will. Where you can actually, it brings up, it sparks the conversation of like, where do we have the lines? It's like, that's actually a really good question. That's a great question to actually ask about where do we need to draw the lines, not where do we want to draw the lines versus where are the objective lines? Because we'll stop there because I'm going down some rabbit holes, some rabbit trails, rabbit holes. Trails of the Rabbits. Thank you very much for being a part of this, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta. What's happening to me?